my fellow limitless HBICs. How you doing on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? Yep, sitting at the table, not on the couch today. I am putting this up on Wednesday, because it is Wednesday. Just want to give the heads up. I will not be going live tonight. My channel members knew that because I said I wasn't sure. I was waiting on an email for because of a coaching session or two. So I have coaching sessions tonight. So I will be going live tomorrow, Thursday. Okay? Just so y'all know. I'm not sure if I'm going live as late as 9, but I might go like 7-ish. Not sure. But I will put, you know, whatchamacallit, like the little thumbnail up ahead of time so you guys know when I'm going live, okay? If you need help figuring out what's going on between you and your manifestation, please feel free to email me at manifestingwithkimberly@gmail.com. All of my coaching options are in the Dropbox below and in the screens that just went by. Also, I have TikTok, I have Instagram. Let's get into the video. Okay. I wanted to discuss today basically how we are manifesting, because sometimes I think people are confused, and that's okay. I was confused too at one time, right? So I just want to give you a little background, and the key word of the day is perception. Perception, okay? When we are manifesting, when we have a desire, and oh no, guys, I'm going to use specific person as an example, okay? Don't lose your shit. Take out specific person and put money or anything else that you want to manifest in instead, okay? All right. So let's talk about as if you were manifesting a specific person. Now, the difference between a brand new specific person, meaning love that you don't know, I'm not going to be using that as an example, but I will give little tidbits so that it'll make it easier to understand. But I want to use the example of a specific person that you've already had some kind of an entanglement with, okay? But don't worry, I'm not leaving you all, you know, new loves out of the equation. I'll give little tidbits. All right, so a lot of us on this journey, when we begin manifesting a specific person and you're starting to have movement, you're starting to have success, you know, a specific person's coming into the equation, and, you know, you're getting excited, and then SP starts pulling away or starts displaying behaviors that make you feel like they're maybe not interested, and like you're losing your manifestation. Okay. So I'm sure a lot of you manifesting love probably have the experience where the specific person is coming in hot and heavy, you know, really, really being attentive, affectionate, you know, contacting you regularly, doing all the things. And then after a little bit of time, or depending on what your beliefs are, and, you know, not to trigger anybody, but I know that sometimes there's a belief out there that, you know, once you sleep with the person, they begin acting differently. Okay. So you'll start to notice that SPs are pulling away. They're not acting the same. You're starting to get those anxious feelings inside, and you're truly starting to believe the thoughts that are coming in your mind that they're not into you anymore. And the panic begins. And we want to start fixing the middle of our manifestations, right? Because our 3D is starting to look like I'm not getting my manifestation. I want you to know that it is during those moments that when you're manifesting a specific person and things are going wonderful, it's all because of your own belief system and the perception that you're seeing your 3D. Remember, our glasses, even if you don't wear glasses, our glasses are like the filter of how you're interpreting your 3D based on the state of consciousness that you are embodying, meaning the version of yourself that you are identifying with. Okay? So, if you didn't know, this is just a little quickie reminder. Most of our beliefs and assumptions, started from childhood. And they started from a place that was never our fault. Never our fault. And for any of you who's thinking, well, I had a good upbringing. My parents were good to me. Yeah, I'm not trying to take a poop on your parents or, you know, the adults that were raising you. You know, they were abusive. Then I'm going to take a poop on them. But if, you know, they are adult caregivers did the best they could for the most part. I know there are some exceptions to that. Based on their own upbringing, right? So it was your perception as a child, right? You kind of saw life through their eyes because they were influencing you, and that's where the beliefs started taking hold, okay? So I'll use the example of if any of you maybe had an older sibling or, a mom who, or even a dad would make comments like, men always cheat, men only want you for one thing. You heard that, you took that, and you implanted that, and it became a belief of yours, okay? So, or, having a dad, women only want men for their money, they're gold diggers. I'm trying to think of the worst things I can think of, women are either, terrible names, they're good for nothing, blah, blah, blah. All those things we heard our adult caregivers say to us, we took on and created beliefs from them, okay? So, and then you get a little bit older, you get into your teenage years, your early 20s, depending on how old you are, right? I'm in my 40s. So my experiences through my teens, 20s, 30s, and now 40s, before I found manifestation, I had a belief system about relationships, about men in general. And our beliefs make us feel like we can pre-predict how someone is going to show up into our 3D, right? Have you never had that gut feeling like, oh my God, I can see already, he's a player. He's a player. And then that guy turned out to be a damn player because you were manifesting that, right? So my experiences was I had a pattern in relationships, and those patterns were stemmed from my upbringing and what my expectation was of men. So for me, I'll give you my truth. I saw my father as a man who took care of everything. He provided for the family, and my mom did too. So no hate to mom, but dad was my solid figure in my life. My mom was too. I feel like I gotta say that in case she watches one of my videos, right? But, and dads were responsible, good people. So I veered towards men that I saw in that light, meaning responsible, good men, right? However, once I started going to school, I began having a belief that I wasn't good enough, or that, people wouldn't like me unless I was entertaining. Those beliefs began to intertwine so that the men that I was attracted to or manifesting, and I didn't know I was manifesting, would fit those descriptions. I would feel not good enough, right? I wouldn't feel good enough. I wouldn't feel chosen, but yet I was bringing in men who were responsible, had good jobs, blah, blah, blah. So all that perpetuated. And I had that pattern over and over again throughout my life. Now, does that mean that every single guy fit that bill? No, but 90% of them did because of my belief system. Okay? So once you start getting into a relationship with someone, you're going to have experiences with that person based on your own previous life experiences, as well as your ingrained beliefs and assumptions. And all of those are tied up to your state of consciousness, the who you are being, the who you are identifying yourself as. So that is why there is that common pattern that when you start getting involved with someone, they're very, very receptive. They're treating you well. They're interested. They're reflecting love back to you. And then you all start to get that weird feeling that you think they're backing off. Their behavior reflects that. And what is happening in those moments when you start to feel a little different, where you feel like something's changed, and maybe they haven't even done anything to change yet, that is your beliefs and assumptions crawling up out of our minds and taking over our 3D. And then whatever our beliefs around love and relationships tied in with what you think about that specific person, they all mash together and start playing out in front of you. So when we think they are beginning to back off, get distant, maybe they're not interested anymore, that is just your old beliefs and assumptions playing out. Okay? So now that you're awake to manifestation, this is where you snatch your power back. This is why when we coaches are asked questions like, my SP is doing this, now what? My first question is usually, okay, what were your previous relationships like? What was life like as a child? So we can narrow down to what beliefs are playing out in your 3D. Your beliefs and assumptions will always supersede your 3D. Always. The law of assumption, manifestation, is the place where we are working on to break those patterns. And how you as an individual decide to do that is an individual game. Meaning we are all manifesting the same way as far as it is our subconscious mind projecting out. Or if you want to look at it as it's your universe or your God projecting out, that's fine too. Whatever you're comfortable with. But we're all manifesting the same. But the how we get there to change our subconscious beliefs is an individual game. And what I mean by that is some of you love to affirm. Some of you love to visualize. Some of you love to script. Some of you love to embody the state or embody the version of yourself that has the desire. So when we're manifesting, the state you are living in is the pair of glasses that you're wearing. And what I mean by that is those glasses, everything you experience in the 3D is being filtered through your state of consciousness glasses, the perception. So when we're talking about a specific person suddenly starting to act more distant, it is your beliefs and assumptions taking over in the 3D, and you're seeing those behaviors through your state of consciousness perception eyeglasses. And that's why you are perceiving their behaviors the way you do. That's why you're seeing things through the eyes of they're backing off from me. They don't want me anymore, because that's the state of consciousness you're living in. That's who you are identifying yourself as. Meaning, we always manifest who we truly are, not necessarily what we want. It's who we are, which is why I discuss states of consciousness, because your state of consciousness, to me, is another pretty word for new reality or the new version of you. Meaning, every single version of you already exists. The version of you that's married, having a million babies with that specific person exists in a parallel reality. She's already in existence. The version of you that does not have specific person, never gets married, is, all alone their whole life. She exists too, or he exists too, in a parallel reality. Just like the version of you that is currently manifesting that specific person, right? You're alive and well too, but you're in a state of consciousness. Everything you experience is always being filtered through your perception filter, your perception eyeglasses, which belong to your state. Your state is who you believe you are. And each state has its own self-concept, its own experiences and manifestation. And I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but it is what it is, which is why most of you can tell when you have shifted to a new state, because your overall being feels differently and you're perceiving things differently. It's why you stop being triggered to things that maybe would have triggered you your entire life. It's because you've shifted out of that state, which your manifestation game, no matter what it is, affirming, visualizing, scripting, inner conversations, revision, All of those are helping you to shift that state, to become the version of yourself that is living the existence that you wish you were living right now. So that is how manifesting is working. Our beliefs, assumptions are always taking over our 3D. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, which is why we address, what are your beliefs around love? What is the pattern you experience in loving relationships? Are third parties something that regularly happens to you in relationships? Were you in friend groups as a child that, you were left out? You weren't always invited to the trips to the mall or to the movies, right? Only some of the friends would get invited and you weren't one of them. Because there is a crossover to how you were treated in your friend groups can cross over into your love relationships too. But most importantly, if you take nothing away from this video, is please don't ever waste a second feeling guilty for things that you've already manifested. That's a waste of time. You didn't know any better. And even if you were aware of manifestation and something shitty manifested, so what? We can fix anything. We can revise it. We can get things squared away in that 3D of yours. We never have to blame and shame. We never have to beat up ourselves. And I'm saying that because I know there's some of you out there that do that. And you know what? I did too. Every time I manifested a solo vacation, once the pain of the solo vacation kind of slewed over me, I would be very hard on myself because I felt like I know better. I should have known better. I know what I'm doing in manifesting. I should have known better. Don't do that to yourselves. Please, 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 please don't. And what your beliefs are, they're not your fault. Your beliefs and assumptions that you're living with are not your fault. They aren't. And they can be changed. And it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't. Whether you're seeing it as reprogramming your mind, if you're more of the sciencey mindset, reprogramming, and if you're more of the, spiritual side, like me, it's a choice. It's a choice. Our job when manifesting, in my opinion, is two things. Decide what you want. What's the desire? And number two, be the observer. Be the observer of your own mind, meaning you no longer have to align with thoughts that don't feel good. Your body is a thermometer. Your body is a temperature gauge. So when thoughts come into your mind that make you feel yucky, for example, when you're manifesting a specific person and they're not showing up the way you wish they would in the 3D, you know it doesn't feel good in your body. You know that there's either a tension in your chest, maybe a pit in your stomach. You just overall feel like shit. That's because the thoughts you're having do not serve you and they no longer have to belong to you. They feel true. They feel natural to you, even if they feel icky. They feel that way because of the conditioning to that negative type thinking, or your previous experiences in relationships have made you feel like, yep, this is what happens every time I'm with a guy. This is what they eventually do to me. It's because you've experienced it over and over and over again. You've accepted it as your truth. It's not your fault. It stemmed from your beliefs and assumptions, but you do have the power to change it. So don't beat up on yourself, but listen to how your body feels. And no, I am not telling you that your feelings are manifesting. That's not what I mean. I'm saying feel the feelings, not marinating in shitty thoughts. I'm saying notice when your body doesn't feel right. Stop yourself and ask yourself, what was I just thinking? What was just on my mind that I feel this way? Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we just don't feel good. That's normal. I'm not talking about those moments. But you know that if you're experiencing a circumstance in your 3D and it's upsetting to you and you're at work and all of a sudden you get the pit in your stomach and you thought you were distracted with work, but you stop yourself and you ask yourself, what was I just thinking? Well, I was thinking about the solo vacation that I'm currently in and how I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to manifest that specific person. Do you see what I'm saying? It feels icky to you. It hurts. It doesn't belong. It's because it's not coming from your true inner self. If you believe in God, it's the I am within you. It's not coming from your I amness. It is coming, in my opinion, from the devil inside your mind. Now, before you go like, what? I don't think that there's a heaven or hell. I believe there's something once we pass on, but I believe heaven and hell is within our own mind. And when thoughts make you feel icky and yucky, that's where it's coming from, the devil. Listen, why do you think things are described as the devil? The devil isn't this evil, horn-wearing, fool. No. The devil is a wonderful master manipulator. He or she or it springs doubt. Doubt. Now, you don't have to believe that the devil's an entity. I don't necessarily think the devil's an entity either. And if you do believe that, that's fine. Your reality. You can do whatever you want. I don't. I think it has to do with our mind. So when doubts stem in our mind, any other thought that doesn't say, I can have what I want, I'm going to experience what I want, anything other than those is the devil, is Satan, is evil, is demonic. As far as when things feel good, right? They feel good in your body. It's probably aligned to something from unconditional love, meaning your desires are coming from unconditional love, essentially. They are. That's why you have this, yearning for it. It's coming from your inner self. It's for you. But when it starts to feel bad, you're having thoughts that don't align to the manifestation, and that's why they feel yucky in the body. So pay attention to how your body feels when thoughts are going across your mind. Be the observer of your thoughts, not the instant acceptor. You don't have to instantly accept every shitty thought that crosses your mind. This is, we're in the business of changing our thoughts and getting a more disciplined mind. And we're changing those beliefs and assumptions by working on our beliefs. Your life can be a brand new, 180. You can change every single aspect of your life if you desire to. With manifestation, you have so much more power than you're even aware of. So I hope all of that made sense. If you have any more questions on what I said in this video, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back and answer your questions, but I want to leave on a little E.Coue quote. I like this quote. E.Coue had the same mindset, I would say, as Neville Goddard. So if you enjoy reading Neville and, you're bored of reading the same ones that we hear about all the time, like, Joseph Murphy and things like that. Not bored, that's a wrong word to use, but you'd like to try somebody else, try E.Coue. Okay? So this is one of my favorite quotes from him. It is we ourselves who alone shall shape our destinies, rising always above the external circumstances and conditions which from time to time shall be thrown across our paths. Nothing is outside of us. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And one more. We can be and should be the masters of events and not their playthings, right? We don't look at that 3D and allow it to control us anymore. We're changing our thoughts. We're changing our beliefs. We're taking the power back and creating lives that actually bring us joy. But the power in all of that is knowing that unconditional love, that joy, that happiness is already inside of you and available to you. And once you realize that, you won't be controlled by circumstances anymore. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.